Report circulating in the Kremlin today is revealing that an International Terrorism Section Unit Chief for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI, named Robert Manson was snared in a honeypot trap set by one of the most feared assassins in the world named Marcus Duane Robertson, and that saw FBI Terror Chief Manson having stolen from him his Glock .40 caliber handgun, a $6,000 Rolex watch, all of his cash, and his identification, and is the second time this FBI terror expert lost his weapon after he reported on the night of July 10, 2016 that his vehicle had been broken into from which was stolen his Glock 22.40 caliber handgun and his Rock River Arms LAR-15 rifle, and that occurred mere hours before, and a few blocks away, from where Democratic National Committee, DNC, data analyst Seth was assassinated on a darkened Washington, D.C. street after his leaving a bar where had been meeting with Imran Awan, who was the computer expert in charge of the computer systems for DNC Chairman Debbie Wasserman Schultz and is now under FBI arrest and/or protection. In the world of espionage, this report explains, a honeypot is the code word for a woman who is supposed to seduce a man in order to pump secrets from him, steal things from him, etc. And which FBI Terror Chief Robert Manson became ensnared by while staying at a hotel in North Carolina, new U.S. reports document, where he was seduced by what is being described as an exotic dancer whom he had brought to his room, with Manson being found the following morning in an incapacitated state, but with his Glock .40 caliber handgun, $6,000 Rolex watch and all of his other valuables, including his FBI identification, all gone. As to who masterminded the honeypot operation against FBI Terror Chief Robert Manson, this report says, was Marcus Duane Robertson, who is, also, known by his Islamic name of Imam Abu Talib, and who is one of the most notorious FBI-CIA assassins in the world, and is so feared. During his time in U.S. prison he was kept in solitary confinement for 3 years, and considered so dangerous, he was kept in shackles 24 hours a day and assigned his own guards. Important to note about Marcus Duane Robertson, this report details, are that National Archive records document his being an elite U.S. Marine Special Forces fighter from May 16, 1986 to May 1994, but who, in 1991, was arrested for being the leader of the notorious Ali Baba gang that had robbed more than 10 banks, private homes and post offices at gunpoint, shot 3 police officers, and attacked 1 police officer after he was injured by a homemade pipe bomb. Anyone expecting that Marcus Duane Robertson would spend the rest of his life behind bars after his 1991 arrest, this report continues, would be wrong, as he was next discovered, in 1993, to be the personal bodyguard to Omar Abdel-Rahman, nicknamed the Blind Sheikh, who is currently serving a life sentence for being a part of the extremist Islamic group accused of the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center. Far from being just a U.S. Marine Special Forces fighter, though, this report notes, Marcus Duane Robertson was recruited, trained and funded by both the FBI and CIA to create the Ali Baba gang in order for him to be able to infiltrate the radical Islamic group headed by the Blind Sheikh, and who after the 1993 bombing of the World Trade Center, conducted deep cover operations throughout West Africa, Egypt, and in America, too. One of the central deep cover operations conducted by Marcus Duane Robertson for both the FBI and CIA, this report says, was the recruitment and training of patsy assassins, with one of the most notorious of them being Omar Mteen, who, on June 12, 2016, killed 49 people and wounded 58 others inside the Pulse Gay nightclub in Orlando, Florida, and whom Robertson had personally radicalized and trained. Knowing how truly dangerous Marcus Duane Robertson was, this report continues, his main FBI handler, Terror Chief Robert Manson, masterminded his arrest, in 2011, on firearms charges which Robertson pled guilty to in January 2012, and thereafter, on March 14, 2012, Manson further charging Robertson with conspiring to defraud the IRS, which Robertson, also, pled guilty to in December 2013, and that Manson, in 2014, followed by indicting Robertson on enhanced terrorism charges. Running concurrently with FBI Terror Chief Robert Manson continuously indicting Marcus Duane Robertson, this report details, was Robertson's U.S. federal lawsuit that threatened to expose his decades of working for both the FBI and CIA, and where, aside from Robertson naming FBI Terror Chief Manson as his main contact, included him exposing FBI agents Adam Topping, Kevin Thuman, Bryce Essery, Kevin Coleman, Kevin Corlew, Christopher J. Savard, and New York City FBI Supervisor Anthony Tony Bivona as being part of this massive conspiracy too. With FBI Terror Chief Robert Hansen having testified in support of the terrorism charges against Marcus Duane Robertson about how truly dangerous he was, Jimenez stated that Robertson wanted Jimenez to learn about Islam first and then Robertson would teach Jimenez how to kill, though, this report continues, in early June 2016, Hansen was called to a mysterious meeting at the U.S. Justice Department where he met with then CIA Director John Brennan, and that was followed, on June 25, 2016, by a U.S. federal judge outrageously dropping all charges against Robertson and ordering him to be immediately freed, and that occurred exactly 9 days after Donald Trump, on June 16, 2016, announced he was running for U.S. president. With this feared FBI-CIA assassin being released into the midst of the highly volatile 2016 U.S. presidential election, this report grimly notes, Marcus Duane Robertson's sudden appearance in Washington, D.C. on July 8, 2016 sent waves of alarm throughout the entire FVR, and whose fears were justified when, on July 10, 2016, DNC data analyst Seth Rich was assassinated, and that massive evidence now shows had leaked the DNC's email to WikiLeaks, with one of the most damning of them being written by Hillary Clinton's campaign chairman John Podesta warning, "I think we have to make examples now of people who have violated the trusts of HRC and the rest of the team. People going forward need to know there are stiff consequences for leaking." And that explains the shocking admission just made by former DNC interim chairwoman Donna Brazile, who stated that right after Seth Rich was assassinated, she kept her blinds closed so a sniper couldn't kill her too, which is a highly bizarre reaction for anyone who believed Seth Rich was killed during a robbery like the deep state said had happened. As to why FBI-CIA assassin Marcus Duane Robertson had his vast honeypot network, that he had honed during Ali Bubby gang days, target his former handler FBI Terror Chief Robert Manson, this report concludes, remains unknowable, but that has VR intelligence analysts sworn as the start of the most deadly phase of the deep state's war against President Trump, beginning, with Trump ally, and U.S. Senator, Rand Paul being the latest target for death, a second time, but though gravely injured, still lives, and whose true facts of this deadly attack are being covered up so as not to stagger the American people minds of how brutal this battle for power is becoming.